The smoke does not rise gently. It presses down. It sits on the rooftops like a weight. It slips into lungs. It coats the back of the throat. It turns morning into a dull, permanent twilight. Children cough before they can speak clearly. Men wipe soot from their eyes and call it progress. Women scrub windows that will be black again by dusk. And above it all, the chimneys multiply. London is growing. But it is not growing quietly. Stand on a narrow street near the river. The air tastes metallic. The cobblestones are slick with waste. Horses strain past carts loaded with coal. Factory bells cut through the fog, not church bells, not calls to prayer, but signals that time now belongs to machines. Inside the mills, something new is happening. Not craft, not tradition. Speed. And speed changes everything. A boy feeds thread into a spinning frame. His fingers move too slowly. The machine does not forgive him. It snaps. Blood on cotton, cotton on the loom. The overseer does not stop production. Because this is not about one boy. It is about output. And output is rising. Families arrive daily from the countryside. They come with hope folded into small cloth bundles. They have heard there is work here, steady wages, opportunity. They find rooms instead. 1 room for 6 people. Sometimes 8. Sometimes more. Privacy becomes a memory. Clean water becomes a rumor. And yet they stay. Because even this feels like survival. For now, the River Thames moves differently now. Once a highway of trade and ceremony, it thickens with waste. Factories empty their runoff without hesitation. Sewage follows gravity. The current carries it all through the heart of the city. The smell is constant. Not occasional. Constant. Still, the factories expand. Brick by brick, London climbs upward. New districts form around iron and steam. Railways cut across old neighborhoods. Warehouses rise beside slums. Profit and poverty share the same walls. From above, it looks like momentum. From below, it feels like pressure. And pressure builds in more than one direction. Inside Parliament, voices argue. Some call it triumph, industry, empire, wealth beyond imagination. Others whisper about conditions. About air that poisons. Water that sickens. Children who work longer hours than grown men. But reform means cost. And cost threatens growth. So the debate lingers. And the machines do not wait. In the East End, night never truly falls. Furnaces glow through the dark. Shift workers trade places in doorways. Exhaustion replaces daylight as the measure of time. A mother listens to her child cough in the next room. She presses a cloth to his forehead. She tells herself it is only the cold. But the cold does not leave soot on the lungs. London's population surges. Street after street fills beyond intention. Infrastructure lags behind ambition. Waste piles faster than it can be cleared. Water pumps draw from sources already contaminated. Doctors notice patterns. Illness spreads in clusters. But the cause is unclear. The city is too large. Too fast. Too proud to imagine that growth itself could be the problem. A decision is approaching. City officials are about to determine whether to invest in modern sanitation, a costly, disruptive overhaul, or continue as they are. They understand what is at stake. They know the Treasury prefers expansion over correction. The proposal will be presented. Arguments will be made. But before the vote can settle the future, the city begins to sicken. And this time it cannot be ignored. The first cases seem isolated. A fever, vomiting, weakness, then entire households fall ill. Then entire streets. The water pumps continue to flow. The factories continue to run. And something invisible moves through London faster than any train. Hospitals fill. Graves multiply. Whispers turn to fear, because what is spreading does not respect wealth. And the city that believed smoke was the price of progress is about to learn the cost of contamination. The river swells with heat. The air thickens, and London is on the edge of something far worse than soot. Something that will force it to choose between growth and survival. The choice is coming. But first, the stench. The heat makes it unbearable. Summer presses down on the city, trapping every odor close to the ground. The Thames, already burdened with waste, begins to ferment beneath the sun. The smell is not unpleasant. It is violent. It invades government chambers. It drifts through open windows. It seeps into curtains and clothing. Members of Parliament press scented cloths to their faces. Still, the stench wins. And suddenly, the river can no longer be ignored. Cholera cuts through the population with precision. Not randomly. Not mysteriously. Street by street. Pump by pump. A physician named John Snow begins to trace it, not to bad air, not to divine will, but to water. Contaminated water. He prepares to remove the handle from a public pump, believed to be spreading the disease. It is a small act, almost symbolic, but it challenges everything the city assumes. The handle is removed, and the case is slow. The implication is staggering. If water carries death, then the entire infrastructure is flawed. If the river is poison, then growth has been feeding on its own waste. The argument inside Parliament shifts. This is no longer about aesthetics. It is about survival. Funds are allocated, reluctantly at first, then urgently, because disease does not negotiate. Engineer Joseph Bazalgette designs something radical. Not a patch, not a temporary diversion. A vast underground sewer system, miles of brick tunnels to intercept waste before it reaches the Thames. It will require tearing up roads, disrupting trade, spending enormous sums. Opposition gathers. Too expensive, too ambitious, too unnecessary. But the smell lingers in the chamber, and memory of the dead lingers in the streets. The decision is made. Construction begins. Above ground, factories continue to multiply. Steel replaces iron, railways stretch farther, the skyline bristles with chimneys like blackened teeth. London becomes the beating heart of an industrial empire. Textiles, coal, shipbuilding, finance, the wealth is undeniable. But so is the transformation. The old city of cobbled lanes and horse-drawn carts is dissolving into steam and steel. And not everyone survives the transition intact. Workers organize. They demand shorter hours, safer conditions, fair wages. Strikes ignite tension between labor and industry. The same system that built opportunity now reveals imbalance. Growth has winners. It also has casualties. The question is no longer whether London will expand. It is who will bear the cost. Bazalgette's sewers begin to function. Waste is redirected. Water clears gradually. Cholera recedes. The great stink fades into memory. Beneath the city, brick tunnels carry away what once threatened to destroy it. It is an invisible triumph. Proof that progress can correct itself, but only after damage forces its hand. London emerges altered. Stronger in infrastructure. Harder in spirit. Larger than ever imagined. But the lesson remains etched into stone and soot. Unchecked growth consumes its foundation. Industry brought wealth beyond precedent. It also brought disease, division, and suffocating air. The city did not collapse. It adapted. Yet adaptation came only after suffering made denial impossible. Stand today on the banks of the Thames. The river moves differently now. Cleaner, controlled. But beneath the pavement, the tunnels still carry the memory of a time when ambition outran responsibility. London learned that expansion without foresight corrodes from within. That progress demands structure. That survival sometimes requires tearing up the very streets that built your success. Growth at any cost is not growth. It is a gamble. And London very nearly lost.